it's a scary sight that we see there with water cannons being used and tear gas shells. Of course, it's going to lead to injuries, but protesters there aren't really worried. They're made up their mind to breach those barricades and literally trample upon the forces that have been put in place. So it appears they have come fully willed to actually get past any hurdle that they see on their way. So it's quite natural that many of them could face injuries. The cops too are quite determined not to allow them into the highly secure zone of Nabanna. So we're going to see this clash continuing for a little longer, Suryagni.
Well, that's what it looks like, Nabella, from the spot that I'm standing at. And it's very important. See, once again, tear shell. It's being used to, like, back-to-back of these shells being burst. You know, you can have a sense of what this area has turned into a war zone. Tear shells are being burst so that the supporters move back. But time and again, they start to come in. And, this is out of the personal experience, I can tell you, this is so potent, this gas, this smoke rather, that it burns your face. And me and my camera person, and not only us, but everyone who's around this particular area, you can see they have covered their faces because of this. And it's being used to, push the crowd back. But time and again, they start reappearing. Police are trying to push them back and disperse the crowd. There are these fire engines. There are two of these specialized water cannons that's being continuously used to get the protesters dispersed. But Nabella, what we are seeing is that time and again these people are coming back. The situation over here, this is Howrah Bridge, very iconic a place, and very dramatic visuals that we are seeing since the past couple of hours over here. Firstly, the welding. All right, there's a lot of sound, and again tear shells are being burst to disperse the crowd. Water cannon is constantly being used. It's completely water cannons being used to disperse the crowd. The crowd is still there.
Bringing for you. In fact, Suryagni is right there, right behind the barricading, where he's being able to report for us, despite the dangers there lurking. We see those tear gas shells that are being used and deployed to ensure that protesters are kept away, if they're not allowed to breach the Nabanna zone. In fact, Nabanna, which is a seat of power, it's a house, it's the official residence and office of the Chief Minister of West Bengal, and that's currently Mamata Banerjee. So Nabanna it's called the State Secretariat. That's where the powerhouse is centered, and here you have the protesters marching towards that powerhouse, demanding Mamata Banerjee's resignation. They are quite strong-willed, wanting to ensure that they breach all barricades that come in their way and head towards Nabanna so they can demand the Chief Minister's resignation. Now, these are police barricadings that are deployed in abundance. The cops taking no chance and ensuring that they're going to ensure these protesters are not able to move into the secure zone. In fact, let me remind you, the student organizations have come together, many of them have come together towards actually holding this protest together collectively without a political backing. Though there's been a lot of blame game, while initially there was talk that the Congress and the CPI will also join in. Then there was talk that there could be RSS backing to some of the student organizations. So both the other parties backed off, but the students saying that they are not political, they have no political influence. They've all come together as one student group. Suryagni is still with us. Suryagni, I see tear gas shells being deployed right behind you. All right. So we're going to try and patch him, but it's of course dangerous for our correspondent there to be around that area where tear gas shells are being deployed to chase away those protesters. It could be really difficult for them to even stand straight with the water cannons, tear gas shells all being deployed simultaneously. Lathi-charge in some places. In fact, this march was set to lead. It was set to head towards the State Secretariat, Nabanna, but it's been stopped right at the Howrah Bridge, much at a distance. There was no way that they would get permission to protest towards the State Secretariat, and clearly they haven't got permission. Now they've still insisted on holding this march, and the cops, as expected, have deployed all their force to fight and ensure that protesters return home. Cops are using tear gas shells to counter these protesters who are strong-willed and wanting to jump over barricades. Many of them were stopped and chased away, but many more managed to actually surpass those barricadings, and they've now they're trying to head towards Nabanna, but just a few stray protesters have managed to breach that. A large chunk of protesters are still behind those barricades, and they're being chased away by the cops using tear gas shells and water cannons. A student organization that's held this protest march. In fact, they're called the Paschim Banga Chhatra Samaj, the Society of Students in West Bengal. And they're leading this march to the State Secretariat. And we know that political parties that were supposed to take part have backed off now. Though the students' march itself, they claim that it's apolitical. West Bengal Police has in fact described the proposed Nabanna Abhijan as illegal. What we know is the cops had already called this as illegal protest march. That's what they had said, that it has taken necessary precautionary measures to ensure that they contain any law and order situation during that march. As we know that the TMC has constantly said that this rally is a conspiracy. It's only a conspiracy to create chaos on the streets of West Bengal. And as we see here, that there were lots of suspicion that was cast by the TMC itself that these protesters are backed by the BJP. In fact, the TMC also released a couple of videos of suspected BJP leaders allegedly planning to incite violence as part of this march. This is the version of the TMC that came to fore. But let me remind you that this is people's anger by and large in Kolkata that was seen on the streets throughout the last few weeks. In fact, since this case happened and came to light on 9th of August all the way to today, we're seeing the kind of anger that prevails is really unfathomable. People never seen before so angry with a crime that has happened right next door. For them, a young girl has been raped and murdered right inside her workplace in the heart of the city, in a hospital. You know, a case that is as unique and the fact that the man who carried out the crime is so brazen because he has connects with the party in power and the police there. So that's led to such distrust within the people, by and large, supporting this agitation in every way possible.